Hi, this is the second video in the CRDP MCP server video series. This video is going to be about how you can deploy the CRDP MCP server in N8N and use it with a native N8N MCP compliant MCP client or an external MCP client AI assistant, something like Cursor AI. Within the repository, there is an N8N directory which contains a couple of JSON templates. These are templates for N8N workflows that you can directly import in N8N and start using the MCP server right away. Before we can deploy these, let's go ahead and install N8N on my Windows machine. Actually, before I do that, let's make sure that our our CRDP container or the CRDP service is up and running. So I'm going to call the health API endpoint again. The status says OK. And now let's go ahead and install N8N. To install, you can simply do npm install N8N and then -G for installing it globally for all users. Now this install does take some time, so I'm going to pause the video and resume once again when the installation has been completed. Okay, N8N has been successfully installed on the server. Now let's launch the server or start the service. All you got to do is type N8N on your terminal and hit enter. And when the service starts up, you'll be prompted to like press O on your keyboard to open the N8N dashboard in your web browser. So let's press O, and you'll be presented with the dashboard of N8N. Now I've already cloned this CRDP repository, and so what I'm going to do is I'm in the N8N dashboard. I'm going to click on Create Workflow, and then from the downloaded or cloned repository, I'm going to import the JSON files from the N8N directory one by one. So the first file I'm going to import is the N8N server. Let's call it server here, CRDP. Let's save this and then make it active. Let's go back to the dashboard and import the client workflow as well. Import from file, client. Now, before you can actually save and make this active, you do need to add a credential for OpenAI here. I've already done that, and once you select it, you'll be able to go back, click on save, and then make the client active. And that's it. Like once you've made the server and the client both active, your MCP CRDP server is ready, and you're ready to test, some prompts. Before I actually send a prompt, um, what basically happens here is that this when you send a chat message, that message gets forwarded to an agent which is interacting with a model in OpenAI. It's also saving that message for memory, for context, so that you can reuse the variables later. Lastly, it also consists of an MCP client which is interacting with the MCP server. Now, whenever you send a prompt, OpenAI's LLM basically decides which MCP tool to call along with the parameters that are required for the tool. So let's go ahead and start with a simple prompt. Uh, this prompt is simply asking for the health of the CRDP service or the CRDP container. And the only parameter that this prompt needs is the CRDP probes URL, which I'm again supplying in the prompt. So let's send this. And here on the right, you can see the workflow that's going on, that's happening. You can see the final response was or is that the CRDP service has a status of OK, which means everything is functioning properly. And here you can see the exact flow, that the MCP, that this, agent MCP client followed. Now let's try, like a protect API call or the protect tool basically. So I'm sending a prompt with an email address and I'm specifying the name of the email, the protection policy that I want to use. And at the same time, I'm also specifying the CRDP service URL, which is basically used for protecting and revealing data. And finally, the response that I get back from the bot, the chat bot, is that this email was successfully encrypted slash protected and was converted into this. So CRDP, this specific email policy protection policy is designed for format preserving encryption, which basically means your output is always going to have the same format as the input. Uh, yeah, this is how you can use the native MCP clients with the N8N MCP servers. But there is another way. So you can use these MCP servers that you create in N8N in other AI clients, other AI assistants, something like OpenAI. So I'm going to something like Cursor AI. Uh, if you've seen part one of the video, you'll know that this is what I configured when I was running the server locally, the JavaScript based server. But now to use the N8N server, all you have to do is replace the JSON body and with this. So instead of running the actual terminal command, what we're going to do is we're going to use npx super gateway to basically expose the N8N to basically communicate with the N8N MCP server over HTTP. Let me save this file and we're going to go back to Cursor and see if it's still able to load our MCP tools. Okay, so we see zero tools enabled because of a couple of reasons. First of all, in the MCP server, we're using Super Gateway, and I don't have Super Gateway installed on this machine. So let's go ahead and install it. So npm install Super Gateway. That's all you need to do. And once Super Gateway is successfully installed, you can go back to the MCP tools, edit the MCP JSON file, make sure all the JSON contents are good, save the JSON file, and then just re-enable the MCP server. As expected, you can see all the 7 tools that are being exposed by the CRDP MCP server, and whatever prompts you were sending in the N8 and chat in the browser, you can send the same prompts in Cursor AI. So let's try the same email encryption or email protection prompt here, and let's make sure that it's able to interact with the MCP server and print our results. All right, so we send the same prompt. It called the CRDP protect data tool, and then it finally prints the encrypted value of that email. And that's it. You've basically created the N8N CRDP MCP server in N8N, and now you can use it either directly inside N8N or other AI assistants like Cursor AI, Google Gemini, or Claude Desktop. Thank you for watching.